Welcome back to Carpenter's Son Woodworking. We are in the middle of some assembly right now on a footboard that we talked about in a previous video to match with the headboard that we've already constructed. The gluing process I usually split up over the course of an hour, where I'll set the board, leave it clamped, and then an hour later I come back out and I add another board to the process. I like to use Titebond 2 formula on my woodworking. It sets up in about 30 minutes, but I leave it for an hour per glue. So we're going to go ahead and add another board. Right now we're in the process of taking these 6 boards. See here that we talked about in a previous video. These boards measure 8 inches long, 3 inches wide, and about an inch thick. We are going to take 6 of these boards, and we turn them into one of these panels. So this panel is about 18 inches wide, long, depending on which way you're holding it, I guess. And then we will use these 3 panels to form the panel of our footboard. These 3 panels will then be attached to 2 of these 54-inch boards that will make up the top and bottom of our footboard. That panel will then be attached to 2 of our 35-inch tall legs. Both the top board and bottom board of the footboard measure in at 3 inches wide and 1.25 inches thick. So when this footboard is all constructed, the footboard will measure 60 inches wide by 35 inches tall. The headboard measures in at 60 inches wide and 41 inches tall. On our mattress, it measures above the mattress. The headboard will extend above the mattress 12 inches. And the footboard will extend above the mattress by 6 inches on our bed when it is when it's all done. All right, here we go. All right, so first we're going to undo our pressure board here. I'll put those clamps there. I'm going to move that panel out of the way because we don't need it. We keep a pressure board on top of the piece that we are gluing so that it does not cut while it is gluing. An issue that you can commonly run into with gluing pieces like this in a environment such as this is sometimes the wood will start to cup, especially when you're gluing many boards into such a long piece. If you don't maintain pressure while the glue sets, this whole thing can have an arch in it. So there's that. These pieces are all numbered as I'm gluing them, so that they form a pattern that I want when the panel is all finished. So, applying our glue to the board. Again, we're using Titebond 2. Good stuff. I've always used it. I prefer it over the standard formula because it does set up faster. So it's nice. You can get out here each hour and put another board on if that's what you're doing. If you're trying to get as much done in a day as you can. I enjoy the woodworking process, but gluing is always so tedious because it feels like I'm losing a lot of time to gluing because I have to wait a long time in between adding boards. But it's the best that I've got, and that's all I have to work with. I only have my best. So we're cleaning up our glue now. We're cleaning up the excess that comes out when we squeeze the boards together. This will reduce the amount of work after the fact to clean up this wood once it's done, and by cleaning up the glue on the bottom here, we will reduce the likelihood that this glue will stick to the work surface when it's dry, and then we won't have to pry it off and risk damaging the wood. So we're going to lay that down, and you can see here we've got a little bit, that board that we added is trying to cup itself. We're going to fix that though by putting the pressure board back on. So then we've got our wood clamps here, and these are just the ones that hold the pressure board on are these 6-inch Harbor Freight clamps. They work on a squeeze mechanism, so when you squeeze the handle they come in tighter. I prefer these over the ones that you twist to tighten. It's a little harder on my wrist. I kind of like this better. So my table saw is kind of in the way. Slide that out. Sneak it in here. Not over far enough. And readjust. That's something I learned that you have to do a lot in woodworking, is readjust. You have to think about what you're doing. And sometimes you have to walk away from it and approach it at a different angle. Alright, so we got that on nice and tight. I'm just looking here to make sure that the whole piece is making contact with the work surface, to make sure that it is going to lay nice and flat. And it looks like it is. We're in business, so that is going to wrap it up for this part. We're going to be back in an hour to check on it and unclamp it and add another board. So I'll see you then. Have fun until then. All right, welcome back. It's been an hour. Let's check and see how that piece is doing. Oh, there we go. It's a little stuck to the table, though. That's okay. Pretty good. I just take my chisel, see if I can clean that up a little bit. Oh, yeah, there we go. Had a little bit of more glue come out of the bottom here, but I'm just going to take the chisel, go over it, kind of scrape it off, get it clean there, so it's nice and flat, nice and flush. There we go. So we've got, that was our 4th board. Now I've got to add our 5th board over here on this end. One of these days I need to invest in, I don't know if you've ever seen them, they sell these little glue rollers. I see a lot of other woodworkers on social media use them. I just got the old finger though. Use the old finger here, the old finger method. Alright. I didn't show this last time, but I've got these 24-inch squeeze clamps from Harbor Freight, just like the 6-inch clamps that I showed you earlier. These ones I'm using to hold the pieces together while they set. It's not my favorite part, but it is a necessary step. Because there's a lot of things in life that are like that. A lot of things you don't want to do, but they're a necessary step to get to where you want to be. Like, I want to get this footboard done. If I could get it done without gluing, I'd be very happy, but I don't have a way to do that. So, gotta do it the old school way. That's another board down. Alright, another hour and we will be back. Alright, it's been another hour, so we're going to check on that board and add another one. Looks like this is going to be the 6th board on this panel, so then once this one is done gluing in another hour, we'll take that one off and we'll start the 3rd panel. Yep, still looking pretty straight. Sometimes even when you clamp them down, you can still get a little variation, and it can, you know, curve a little bit, but this one is appearing to be pretty straight still. There we go. 5 boards down. 1 to go. 24-inch clamps on. The 24-inch clamps seem like overkill until you get towards the end of this thing and you realize it's 18 inches long. And then you're thankful for it. Or it's always kind of stressful because it's totally out of your control whether or not something's going to go wrong here. Because if something's going to go wrong, it's going to be here. And it's totally out of my control. I can't do anything about it once it's gone wrong. Because if the glue is set and it's wrong, then I can't go back and fix it. I have to start over, but that's alright. Because if I gotta start over, I gotta start over. It's just what it is. While I was waiting for that board, that previous one to glue up, I found a piece that I had to recut the other day. And this is a prime example of one of the issues with working with reclaimed lumber, is you never know when you're gonna run into a nail or miss a nail, and then that nail goes through your thickness planer. And that becomes an issue. So you're probably gonna have a hard time seeing it, but on the board here, so right here, it's perfectly smooth. And then right there, you can kind of see it in the light right there. There's now a permanent groove because that lovely little nail took a groove out of one of the blades, or actually all three of the blades of my thickness planer. So I'm gonna have to flip those around. Thankfully, it's all the way on the right side of the thickness planer, so it's not a huge loss. I can continue to run this. I can continue to run the thickness planer with that small notch in there. It just means a little extra sanding, which I sand all my projects once I'm finished with them anyways, so not a huge issue there, I don't think. So, but just thought it was interesting. One of my many mistakes that I make doing these, so. All right, we're gonna wait an hour. It's about, what time is it now? It's about 4 o'clock, so we'll be back out here around 5 o'clock.